Hello, friends. Let's take our discussion of transport layer functions ahead. As we discussed in the last class, that the major functions are service point addressing. So let's dive deep that what exactly we mean by service point addressing. Computers often run several programs at the same time. You all believe this. And for this reason, source to destination delivery means delivery not only from one computer to the next, but also from a specific process running program on one computer to a specific process running program on the other. The transport layer header must therefore include a type of address called a service point address or port address. The network layer gets each packet to the correct computer. The transport layer gets the entire message to the correct process on that computer. So, this is the very first function of service point addressing. Second is the segmentation and reassembly. A message is divided into transmittable segments, with each segment containing a sequence number. These numbers enable the transport layer to reassemble the message correctly upon arriving at the destination and to identify and replace the packets that were lost in transmission. Third function of transport layer is connection control. The transport layer can be either connectionless or connection oriented. A connectionless transport layer treats each segment as an independent packet and delivers it to the transport layer at the destination machine. A connection oriented transport layer makes a connection with the transport layer at the destination machine first before delivering the packets. After all the data are transferred, the connection is terminated. Next function is the flow control. Like the data link layer, the transport layer is responsible for flow control. However, flow control at this layer is performed end to end rather than across a single link. Error control. Like the data link layer, the transport layer is responsible for error control. However, error control at this layer is performed process to process rather than across a single link. The, the sending transport layer makes sure that the entire message arrives. That the entire message arrives at the receiving transport layer without the errors, damage, loss, or duplication. Error correction is usually achieved through the retransmission of data packets. So as you all can see on the screen that there is a reliable process to process delivery of a message. Coming on to the next layer, that is the session layer. The basic services provided by the session layer are the services provided by the first three layers, that is the physical data link and network, are not sufficient most of the time for some processes. The session layer is the network dialog controller basically. So the basic function of dialog controller is to establish, maintain and synchronize the interaction among the communicating systems. The major responsibility of the session layer is the dialog control and synchronization. Specific responsibilities includes the dialog control. The session layer allows the two systems to enter into a dialogue. It allows the communication between two processes to take place in either half duplex, that is, one way at a time, or full duplex, that is, two ways at a time. Next, the very important responsibility is synchronization. Now, you all must be wondering that how two nodes or how two machines or how two networks can be synchronized. So, the session layer allows a process to add the checkpoints. These checkpoints are termed as the synchronization points to a stream of data. For example, if a system is sending a file, let's suppose of 2000 pages, so it is advisable to insert the checkpoints after every 100 pages to ensure that each 100-page unit is received and acknowledged independently. So, in this case, even if a crash happens during the transmission of page number, let's take 523, the only pages that need to be resent after the system recovery are pages from 501 to 523. So, the previous pages 501 needs not to be resent, as it's clear from the diagram that the relationship of the session layer to the transport and presentation layers are linked with each other. Moving ahead with the last two layers are the presentation layer. As you can see that the very next layer, the higher layer connected one is the application and the below layer is the session. The presentation layer is concerned with the syntax and semantics of the information exchanged between the two systems. The diagram shows the relationship between the presentation layer and the application and session. The presentation layer is responsible for translation, compression, and encryption. Specific responsibilities of the presentation layer includes the following: translation. The processes or the running programs in two systems are usually exchanging information in the form of character strings, numbers, and so on. The information must be changed to bit streams before being transmitted because different computers use different encoding systems. The presentation layer is responsible for the interoperability between these different encoding methods. The presentation layer at the sender changes the information from its sender dependent format into a common format. The presentation layer at the receiving machine changes the common format into its receiver dependent format. Next function of the presentation is the encryption. To carry the sensitive information, a system must be able to ensure privacy. Encryption means that the sender transforms the original information to another form and sends the resulting message out over the network. Decryption reverses the original process to transform the message back to its original form. Compression. Data compression reduces the number of bits contained in the information. Data compression becomes particularly important in the transmission of multimedia such as text, audio, and video. Application layer. The last layer is application layer. Enables the user, whether human or software, to access the network. It provides the user interfaces and support for services such as electronic mail, remote file access and transfer, shared database management, and other types of distributed information services. The diagram shows the relationship of the application layer to the user and the presentation layer. Of the many application services available, the diagram shows only the three: X.400, the message handling services, X.500, the directory services, and file transfer access and management, that is FTAM. The user in this example employs X.400 to send an email message. The application layer is responsible for providing the services to the user. Specific services provided by the application layer includes the following: network, virtual terminal, file transfer access and management, mail services, and the directory services. So here we complete the description of all 7 layers. In the next upcoming video, we would start with the new topic of computer networks.